network grow stronger. For tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, this meeting, this presentation, ini kedua kali yang kita buat dari ide saya untuk membuat ini. Setiap pertemuan IMSO sekarang itu ada presentasi seperti ini. Sebelumnya tidak ada. Jadi walaupun saya bahasa Inggrisnya tidak bagus, tapi saya punya ide bagus untuk membuat ide ini. Saya berharap setiap negara yang menjadi tuan rumah, guru-gurunya mendapatkan manfaat dari kegiatan ini. Setuju tidak Bapak Ibu? Nah, jadi bagi saya, dalam hidup saya, walaupun saya tidak bisa berbahasa Inggris yang baik, tapi saya ingin berbuat baik buat banyak orang, terutama guru-guru, baik di Malaysia maupun di mana saja. Makanya saya undang para ahli dari berbagai negara untuk mempresentasikan hasil penelitian mereka. Setuju ya Bapak Ibu ya? Oke. Mudah-mudahan nanti banyak guru yang bakal hadir di sini. Oke. With that, I officially declare that the Second International Conference on Mathematics, Science and Technology Education, or ICMSTE 2025, officially open. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much to the chairman for the inspiring words and insightful given for officially opening our conference. Now, before we begin with our speakers, I would like to remind our speakers on some rules on presenting, all right? So for each presenter is allocated a total of 20 minutes for their session, consisting of maybe 15 to 20 minutes of the presentation, and optionally 5 minutes for questions and answers, the Q&A. So we kindly ask all speakers to keep track of their time to ensure the smooth flow of our program. A gentle reminder will be given when your time is almost up. Puan Syahidah? So these are the list of the speakers for our presentation for today. Okay. So, without further ado, let's welcome our first speaker. Our first speaker is Ms. So Lai Leng from Singapore. She will present on talent development framework and selection scheme of NUS High School of Mathematics and Science, Singapore. Please welcome Ms. So Lai Leng.
A very good morning to Dr. Ridwan and all the distinguished educators from the 23 participating nations in IMSO. So it's really a great honor for me to be here this morning to be able to present at this second international conference on mathematics, science and technology education. So I am Lai Leng, right, and I'm the principal of NUS High School of Mathematics and Science in Singapore. And we are the affiliated high school, the only affiliated high school of the National University of Singapore. And our specialization is in mathematics and science. So we thought it's actually quite suitable for us to present and share with you about the education framework that guides us and how we design the learning experience at NUS High School. So you see there at the bottom, it says experiment, explore, excel. That is our school motto. So you will find that as I share with you, that really this guides, the school motto guides us in all that we do at NUS High School. So this is our education framework. It is read kind of from bottom all the way up. So I will sort of take you through the thinking behind the design. So our education framework is guided and adapted from the Gartner's framework, right, on the differentiated model of giftedness and talent. Right? Because we are set up in 2005 with a very clear mission to really upstream, develop and nurture the talents for the nation's, in a way, the manpower, the talent pool for mathematics and science, research, technopreneurship, and so on. So that's why we adopt a framework that is for the gifted and the talented. And we actually get to attract from all over the country, right, the students who are really passionate and about and also talented in mathematics and science. So we draw on the children's natural abilities to begin with, right? Not just the intellectual, also the creative, right? And also the emotional aspect as well, the passion for mathematics and science. And with these talents that we receive, what we do is we actually design both the formal and the informal curriculum to really to have that developmental process right through 6 years. The children come to us at secondary 1 or aged 12, right? And then we will take them through 6 years of secondary and pre-university education, right? And then thereafter, they will, almost all of them, right? In fact, all of them will move on to university. So if you see there in the middle, right? In terms of this formal and informal curriculum that we have, we believe that actually it is important to develop talents systemically on a daily basis. That means they live and breathe the developmental process, and it is not just a pull-out where they go for some kind of a enrichment program that is, let's say, once a week or the like. So it's on a daily basis in which we give them accelerated program, right? So in fact, what we complete, what the country, right, in Singapore, the students typically go through 4-year secondary to complete secondary education and sit for the O-level examinations. For us, we complete that curriculum in 3 years. So the curriculum is accelerated for all the students in the school, right? And then after that, then we move straight onto the pre-university program. So the acceleration allows us to stretch the students. So that's why the curriculum is compact and still rigorous. Right. The model is a modular system in which we allow the students to pick and choose, right? Different modules according to their interests and according to their passion. Right? Then in that case, the students are able to achieve a differentiated kind of a curriculum that is catered to the individual. Right? And also to make sure that with the modular system, the students actually get sufficient breadth in terms of their development as well, because although we are specialized in science, maths and science, right, we don't just teach mathematics and science in the school, right, because really every child needs that holistic development, right, to really grow and be well balanced. Okay. So I mentioned, because it is differentiated pathway, every child is able to pursue their passion, right, and able to reach their personal best in whatever they choose to do. If you move to your left, right, we put there another important aspect of the framework is that we need to not just provide a curriculum, but actually the whole learning environment is very critical, right? The school culture, right, is what shapes the child every minute, every second as they are living and breathing in the school. Right? So you'll find that culture that encourages curiosity, that culture that encourages wonderment, right? Nurturing passion. So that is an important part of their experience in the school, right? And also, so every teacher, right, will have to be able to, whether it is in the classroom, outside the classroom, to always very consistently, right, encourage that kind of a curiosity and passion in order for it to really be a part of them, right, as they grow and develop. So on the right side here, you see intrapersonal competencies. Right? I've been talking so far a lot about perhaps the knowledge, the cognitive aspect of the child's development. But the intrapersonal development is actually part and parcel of that school experience that is very critical. Children who are talented and gifted, right, tend to be very focused, right, tend to have very high demands on themselves. Right. Of course, very often also coupled with high expectations from their parents as well. So the intrapersonal development, right, growing the students in terms of their school values, right, our school values are wonderment, integrity, service, excellence, very importantly, resilience, and also humility. Right? I'm sure as educators you will have the experience, right, of students, sometimes when they are too hard on themselves, right, they crumble very easily, right, under pressure as well. Right? In fact, all the IMSO children who are now sitting for their test now, right, they will all be very nervous, right, and so some of them may not perform up to their own expectations. And in that sense, in that case, how do we develop their resilience for them to be able to fall down and yet stand up again, right? So I think the intrapersonal development and competencies, right, is a very integral part of their education, right? We also talk about the growth mindset for them to also see that actually talent is not just inborn. Talent can also be developed and grown, right? And so therefore, it is important that they can see that with effort, with practice, they can actually be better, right? So that continuous growth, that growth mindset is important. And also we talk about the 21st century competencies, right? All the adaptive thinking, inventive thinking, right? Cross-cultural skills as well, so that they are here today, right, interacting with another 22 nations, right? It's very important because that cross-cultural learning, right, is actually very critical in this modern world because there's so much collaboration between countries. So if we continue to move out, then that spells out the school outcomes, the student outcomes that we aspire to develop. Scientific prowess is very important, right? Because after all, we are maths and science schools. So that talent in mathematics and science must be developed, right? Empathetic communication, right? To be able to not just speak and present, but at the same time be able to understand people, understand the audience in the presentation and communication as well. So inventive mindset, pioneering spirit, and humanitarian in action. Like we always really imbue in our students the understanding that whatever talent that they are given is meant and intended to be shared with the world, right? To be able to serve the people around them, the community, and also the global world. So, and at the end of it, our students very often, right, will be able to contribute, right, whether it is in academia, in the industry, right, in STEM domains, but also beyond the STEM domains as well, because not every one of them will end up in a STEM career. After all, they come to us at the age of 12. They are still very young. Okay, so that's the fundamental framework. So the students actually upon graduation, they do go to places all around the world. About half of them stay in Singapore to attend the universities in Singapore. But others will go to, say on the left, you see universities in UK, Oxford and Cambridge. On the right, you see American universities, MIT, Harvard, and so on. You can also, some of them go to Australian universities, Hong Kong University, it's also here, Japan, Korea as well. Okay, so next, there are two key parts of my next presentation, which is to share with you the curriculum structure and also the learning experience at NAS High School. Right? The curriculum structure is designed to allow students to pursue personalized pathway. Okay, so just to introduce you to Singapore's education structure, very similar to Malaysia. Right. So on the left, you see the mainstream schools in Singapore. The students will typically go through about 4 to 5 years of secondary education. At the end of it, they will sit for the National Singapore Cambridge Ordinary Level exams. This is very similar to the Malaysian SPM. Then after that, they will then students will go to junior college, right, or pre-university centers, right, to actually study and prepare for the Singapore Cambridge Advanced Level Examinations, right, I think equivalent to the STPM in Malaysia. Right. And thereafter, they will then apply to university. Right. But actually, we are very unique as a school in Singapore. We are the only school in Singapore that actually doesn't sit for any national exam. We don't sit for the SPM or O-level, neither do we sit for the A-levels. So at the end of it, it's all based on internal school assessment, right? And because we don't do national exams, we have actually time and space to actually partner the universities to offer university courses to our students. Right? So about 40% of our students will take university courses even when they are with the school. Right? So, and in fact, because we have full control over what we teach and how we teach, so we are able to design and be very nimble in terms of designing a future-ready curriculum. Right? Give an example. Back in 2019, right, we have already introduced AI as a module for our computer science course in school. Right? This is like 3 years before generative AI stormed the world, right, at the end of 2022. So I think really being small, right, and having that autonomy, we are able to kind of spot what's coming in the future and actually start preparing for it. Okay, so structure-wise, we run a 6-year curriculum, modular system, very similar to the university actually. Right, so and we offer we award the grade points, right, for the students to accumulate over years 4, 5, and 6. So then at the end of it, based on those grade points, we award the NUS High School Diploma. So structure-wise, there is a core curriculum that all the students will go through, and after I'll give a bit more details on that. So core curriculum ensures that every student has a very rigorous foundation in the necessary base in math, science, humanities, and so on. Right. On top of the core curriculum, we also have elective and enrichment modules. So this kind of adds on, and with elective modules, students get to choose what they love and pursue it deeper. Right? So for example, I love physics, but I don't like biology. So then I can opt for physics electives, and then I can skip the bio electives. Enrichment is for broadening purpose, and it's not counted. So students can go and do anything that they want, try things that they are not good at, so without having to worry that it will affect their grade points. So with this structure, we allow students to pick and choose, follow their passion, right? And when they follow their passion, they are more self-directed because I chose it, I want to learn it, right? So they will have their self-direction, and also to ensure there's both depth as well as breadth, right, in what they learn. So this is the curriculum subjects that we cover. Right. You'll notice that it is split into a 3-3 system. For first 3 years, we complete the O-levels, equivalent in mainstream schools. And then in the last 3 years, we're able to cover the pre-university component. That's why our full diploma is actually higher than the equivalent of A-levels in our school system, what we call the A-level plus. Subjects-wise, right, you see there, right at the top is character and citizenship education, because nurturing the intrapersonal development of the child is very critical. Right? Subjects-wise, you will see that we are a quad science school, meaning we teach mathematics and 4 sciences, biochemistry, physics, plus computer science. So every year 1 student will do computer science in this school. Right? So this ensures that there's a strong foundation in mathematics and science, right? And ensuring that they don't just learn maths and science, because other skills are important to complement, right? As well as for them to be able to understand the world, right? to be able to communicate. So that's why languages, both English language and a mother tongue language is compulsory. So mother tongue languages will include Chinese language, Malay, right, Tamil, Hindi. Students who are interested can also do foreign languages, right? And also the humanities, geography, history, literature, arts, music. So all these are compulsory in the junior high years to make sure that the students get a breadth of exposure. Right? And then at the senior high level, it's compulsory for the students to do 1 mathematics and 2 sciences as their core, which is what we call the major. Right? Those who are interested, and about 3/4 of them do so, right? So those who are interested can do a 4th major. And that 4th major can be a science. The 4th major can also be a humanities subject like economics, which is the most popular. They can also do geography. I have arts and music majors as well in the senior high years. Right? And if major is not enough for them, they can actually choose to do it at a higher level, what we call the honors level as well. So you'll find that with this structure, students are able to mix and match, and everyone can really choose, right, to pursue. Okay, so we also have a interdisciplinary curriculum, right, to make sure that our students are able to make interconnection between different concepts as well. Okay, so this is just to give you a sense of the computer science program that we have in the school, right? And at the senior high years, the students get to partner, get to go to university like SMU, SIT, and US to do their courses. So this just gives you a sense of the acceleration pathways that the students do. So students like IMSO students will be able to skip grades when it comes to mathematics and actually complete the mathematics program and go on to do university maths courses. Okay, so about 40% of our students, right, will be accelerated. So to share with you very quickly the experience of our students, right, what's the kind of learning experiences? So we believe that besides all the theory, the interactions, the authentic inquiry, right, is also very critical. So you'll find that our students spend a lot of time in the labs doing real life kind of experiments, trying to solve real world problems. Right. So this is just one of the projects. We don't have a space engineering part in our main curriculum, but we allow students to kind of form special programs for example, in this case, they wanted to study space engineering and build a nanosatellite. So after 6 years, right, passing from seniors to juniors, completely independent, right, with fresh mentors from university, right. So in March this year, we actually launched our very first student-built nanosatellite, got launched into space. That was in March. So this is about our research program. Our students actually do research from year 1 so that they can really learn to explore, experiment, and make inquiries. Okay? So these are our students participating in Olympiads, right? Things like nuclear science Olympiad, for example. Again, we don't teach in school, but we allow our students to on their own go and explore, right? Student interest group, again, get the students to on their own, right, form their own interest group, develop their leadership abilities, right, with minimal interventions from teachers. Okay, they go overseas to really top research institutions, really inspire them, right at the cutting edge of technology. And also they are highly encouraged to go and do internships at the industry, in research institutions, in things that are not related to STEM either, right? So these are like, for example, venture capitalist companies for those who want to explore a little bit more beyond. I mentioned about service, so our students it's very important that they develop their heart to serve, and humanitarian education is weaved into the curriculum right through the 6 years. We also have a boarding school, right? It houses all our overseas scholars from all over ASEAN, China, and so on, right? But also all our year 5 students, right, will have to go through 1 year in boarding school to help them develop their independence in learning and also help them learn to live with the community. Okay, so teachers, I think at educators here, you are the most important to your school. So that's why I think we're very blessed, right, with teachers who really believe in what the school's approach in teaching and learning. Like Dr. Lee, some of you might have met him, right? He's certainly one of our very caring teachers who receive awards for caring teachers and so on. Okay, so just very quickly touch on the school-based scholarships that we offer. We offer school-based scholarships to ASEAN countries, so all the 10 right, neighboring ones. And they will spend 6 years fully paid, right, from fees to air tickets to accommodation, right? So 6 years, no bond scholarship, and after that, after they graduate from our school, they can also apply to our local universities for scholarships as well. Okay, so you can actually take a photo of this if you'd like to find out more about the school. That's a QR code, and also contact information for the various people in our school. So my colleague, Dr. Gary Leong, is here, right? So you can have questions for him, you can ask him later as well. Okay. So for, I think, parents, if your parents are interested to find out more about the school and about the scholarship, we actually have a talk on the 8th of November at 10 a.m. So actually this is targeted at ASEAN countries, right, because we offer scholarships only to ASEAN countries. Right. So thank you very much for your attention. I'm sorry I exceeded our 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Miss. Thank you, Ms. So Lai Leng, for that insightful sharing on education and talent development in Singapore. Next, we have Ms. Chang Wai Oi from Hong Kong presenting Primary Science Education in Hong Kong, Curriculum, Pedagogy, and Global Relevance. Please welcome Mrs. Chang.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. 大家好，早安。你好啊，早晨。I'm from Hong Kong. I'm Zhang Wai Oi, the principal of Poland Feng Cheng Memorial Primary School. And now I would like to share what Hong Kong trying to use the science to for the primary student. Normally, yeah. Thank you so much. Normally, we have a general study in schools, but from 20 and 25, we have the science subject now. We try to make it smoothly, so we take a science subject from primary 1 and primary 4 first, and then gradually. Thank you. Okay. Okay, the government, they set up an ad hoc committee for the development for the science and the curriculum framework, and the proposal start to consult, and that's right, we have 315,000 and one-off grant to set up the changes. So here are the curriculum aims. The curriculum puts emphasis on fostering students' curiosity, imagination, and desire for knowledge about the world and their surroundings, developing their science process skill, and building up their basic scientific knowledge. And the concept by engaging them in hands-on and minds-on scientific inquiry activities. So there are 4 learning strands of the Hong Kong science. We try to have 4 aspects to develop the skill for students. Through the mainland and Hong Kong Teachers Exchange and Cooperate program, we have a teacher. She is from the Shenzhen, China. So she stayed at our school about twice a week. So we have developed some science-based and STEAM curriculum and teaching materials based on the education department. Assessment is an important part of curriculum implementation. The mainland China teachers, they can set the P-test and PO-test for us. So we cooperate and have lectures time to time. Okay, using a team-based learning model focused on developing curriculum leaders, the program aims to enhance the school's curriculum leadership, capacity, and the professional growth of the teaching team. And it is our honor, we have a 5-day study tour to Shanghai, a quite good experience. The study tour includes 4 keynote lecturers, visit to 3 schools, and 2 specialized tours and city sightseeing. So how to improve our running shoes? The teachers in Fushan should try to ask more questions to inspire the students. So teachers in Fushan school, they don't demonstrate on how to assess and design the student to make a good shoes. And for another school, we try to learn that in Shanghai, they have a specialized learning platform for students to use the microbit and program to control the vehicle access. So I think to Hong Kong, maybe we try to have a similar platform too. Facing a new subject, science, teachers are very hard to study and design their learning activities. And students and teachers, and also the parents, they have to give more energy to this subject. So we have to power up. Well, yeah, power up. Okay. The resources is very important because we have a lot of training for teachers to learn science. So we have substitute teachers, and then we want to have a good start to lay the foundation of the achievement. Our school have adopted multi-assessment strategies, including science, inquiry, records, observation, here. And then presentation videos, learning logs, data collection, booklets, etc. Here is our assessment items and their weightings in our school. But there's a typing mistake. It's term 1, term 2, and term 3, not team 1, team 2, and team 3. Yeah. So for primary 1, we have no examination. We just use the PDA-RO and PDI-RO to assess students, and some from cumulative assessment. For primary 4, we have examination and weightings more. Our teacher, Mr. Lola Gay, he is the only one teachers in Hong Kong to have an open lesson using a model to stimulate ice mating and inquiry activities for teachers to observe. The learning objective is using scientific simulation to observe and analyze how land ice and sea ice affect the water levels. and to summarize the main causes of the sea level rise. The lesson followed the PDARO inquiry process, that is, plan, do, analysis, and review. Do you know what is the main cause of sea level rise? Is it melting ice or the land ice or both? So we try to use questions to encourage the student to think. And then we try to make some hypothesis and prediction of their outcomes. We also use the models. We try to model it, what's the land ice and the sea ice. Okay, during the do stage, students stimulate the pupil and they experience and they use models for the land ice and then the sea ice. They have to measure it. And then after the experiment, they can find the data. So it's quite interesting. Because the sea ice, the ice is already in the sea, so when it melts, they have no change in the water level. But the land ice, because the ice is above the land, so it has some changes. But the changes is not very easy to take. So that's the conclusion. Because the ice on land melts and flows into the ocean, it causes the sea levels to rise. But since sea ice flows on the ocean, when it melts into water, it doesn't significantly raise the water levels. For this experience, I think students are very interested on science. So here comes the conclusion. Our school is one of the primary schools in Poland. So we have some learning communities, and we try to get the teachers of Poland together and to design and then to assess what a good practice or good examination or experiment is better. So we try to learn more in the future. So last but not the least, in the initial stage, the curriculum and activities framework may not be fully comprehensive, and current and maybe frequent review and adjustment are necessary. So thank you for all of you. So and I hope to learn more from yours. Thank you.
So wonderful speech from Ms. Chan about the global relevance of Hong Kong education, right? So we're open for the Q&A, the questions and answers. So if you have any questions, you can come forth and ask Ms. Chan the questions here. So this is the microphone for you to speak, okay? Any questions? Okay, Ms. Chang suggests that we give time to ponder the questions, okay? Okay. Again, thank you so much, Ms. Chan. So we learn about the science education in Hong Kong, the innovative approaches here from Ms. Chan about the learning and the education of Hong Kong. Moving on, let's welcome Mr. Muhammad El Ibawi from Morocco. He'll be sharing on Math Stars, competing and nurturing talent in Morocco. Please give him a warm round of applause. Presenting Mr. Muhammad El Ibawi.
Good morning, dear colleagues. Good morning, dear colleagues, esteemed professor. First of all, I want to thank the organizer for this prestigious event. My goal today is to share with you some few idea about what we have undertaken in Morocco about competition and nurturing talent. My journey will start from the concept and then to our first participation in IMSO 2025. So our starting point was urgent and clear. Moroccan, it's not to say. Moroccan fourth grad student ranked very poorly in Times studies compared to the international average scores. So 5 years before, I supervised for study as an attempt on suggesting a way to develop positive people's attitude and skills toward mathematics. This concerns lead me, as I said before, to supervise the study with the main guiding question, which was to what extent adopting non-routine mathematical problem-solving strategies can improve the acquisition of higher order thinking skills among for primary schools, primary and sixth, but I restrict myself to speak about fourth primary school. Okay, this is my guiding question. Several sub-questions emerged from this main question. The first one is to what degree the current Moroccan fourth primary mathematics textbook contain non-routine problem targeting student high-order thinking skills. The second is to what extent the primary mathematics curriculum emphasizes non-routine problem solving as an approach to enhance students' high-order thinking skills. And the last one is what is the impact of dealing with non-routine problem and heuristic on achievement scores of analyzing, evaluating, and creating skills among the experimental group. Let me first to state some keywords. Routine problem, as you know, are problems that can be solved using methods familiar to learners or by applying straight procedure. Non-routine problem, for the moment, we will take as problems that are very likely to where students are very likely be unfamiliar and they make cognitive demands over and above those needed for solution of routine problem. And I take this moment to underline that IMSO problems are in most, I can say that for exploration problem are now routine problem, no routine problem. And for high order thinking skills, we can take the simple definition in this study. It is the operational high order thinking skill concept falls into a context in which flexibility, creative thinking, and transfer of learning and problem solving intersect. As you know, they are the three top in the Bloom pyramid: analyze, evaluate, and create. The methodology of this study was, in order to collect the data, we start by 3 instruments. The first one is a questionnaire to measure the attitude of a sample of teachers. And the second one was pre-test and post-test. We'll find that the practical test was on 12 classrooms and 10680 students in urban and rural to have a representative sample. A content analysis of one mathematics textbook to see if there are a good proportion of non-routine problems. Okay. This study consists in 2 parts, one theoretical and one practical, to be experimented and tested in classrooms. So, for the mathematics heuristic, we restrict ourselves to 4 heuristics. Guess and check, as you know, it is a useful practice in solving this kind of problem. The second one is making a list to order the data. Yes. And the third one is draw a diagram. And the fourth one is 3D visualization, which is the ability to see the process and the product of creation, interpretation, and so on. So we restrict in this experimentation to implement in classrooms those 4 heuristics. Okay. In global, to oversee is we have here 4 students, and we start by a pretest, and then we have 2 groups as usual, experimental groups and control groups, and we do the implementation of the 4 heuristics, and then we do post-test to see the impact. This is one item of the fourth grad student pretest. You see, its mind is to see the generalization. Is our students capable to generalize some simple pattern? And this one is a kind of enumerate in a logical way. The second one is concerned the 3D visualization. I recall that we have four heuristics, and this one is 10 small cubes, and we have been passed together as shown, and so there are holes in each faces. So if we immerse the object in the vessel, how many squares or facets have been here? One student said after the experimentation that he found it very fun to go inside the cubic shape that has many holes from all sides, and he tried to compute the painted faces. So here some findings. proportion of non-routine problem within the textbook of mathematics. Here you have the 4 domains: number, geometry, and major and data handling. We find that in conclusion that amongst 537 in total, about 3/4 are exercises. In otherwise, other are straight. Some operation calculation. 24% are routine problems. So it remains only 3.17% are non-routine problems. So you can see that non-routine problems are rare in this case. Here, for the high-order thinking skills, we do also some analysis, and we found, as you see, that that in both number and measurement domain, we target only 2 high-order thinking skills. And in geometry, we just target 1 high-order thinking skills. And data handling, as you see, is 0. Now high-order thinking. Just calculation. Okay. Now, for the impact, you see that by statistics and between post-test and pre-test, we see that before we have this parameter statistics, which show that the difference statistically significant, that there is a positive impact for this example of 3-day visualization. Okay, the true experiment now, conclusions, which are not perfect and final, but there are some indices on which we can work in the future. The true experiment results provide important data from the pre and post test, which can be incorporated into teaching practice to explain the importance of enhancing high-order thinking skills through non-routine problem solving. The second one is non-routine problems are rare, as you have seen in the Moroccan 4 primary mathematics textbook. There is no emphasis of non-routine problem solving as an approach to enhancing high-order thinking skills. And it has also been concluded that high-order thinking skills require more emphasis in the primary school curriculum. Now, the second part of this speech was to address some of these shortcomings identified in this study. My association has thought through a program which is called MathStars, which starts in 2024 November, to enable a sample of Moroccan children to refine their talent through specialized content, advanced content, and advanced in the sense of complexity and depth and varied resources of activity. The main goal of the program was to detect gifted students and guide and stimulate their talent for mathematics. The second is promoting advanced training program, and the third is organizing and participating in such international competition. Okay, now the road to IMSO 2025, it's the conclusion for that speech. The MathStars program targets primary and middle school students across Morocco with a focus on discovering and nurturing gifted learners aged between 10 and 14 years old. A total of 352 students were registered in the initial phase, and primary schools. Through 4 stages for primary school, we got about 20 training sessions online, and on focusing on solving non-routine problems. We organized summer camp. In the final camp, gathered 27 students for advanced workshops and final test activities included workshops in geometry, combinatorics, algebra, and number theory, and some other activities such as programming and tangram and chess problem solving, etc. Yes. I have one short video, about 2 minutes, to show you some such activity in the reality. What's it? How can I change it? Is that a video? Yes. Yes. Inspirasi. Yes. Okay.
Minor difficulties here. So before we continue with the video presentation, so a quick welcome here. So informal welcome. So I want to give a huge applause to all the presenters come from far, Hong Kong, from Morocco, from Thailand, from the USA. Okay, so many countries are here. So is this your first time in Malaysia? Yes, first time in Malaysia. So have you tried the food? Yeah. Yes, spicy. So safe to say, in my opinion, Malaysians are blessed. We have amazing food here. So try to explore the food, food cuisine here. Food culture is very good here in Alor Setar. Okay. So we continue with the next presenter. Okay. So thank you, Mr. Mr. Muhammad. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Hi, Mr. Muhammad here. See you there. Thank you. Very insightful about the Moroccan education here, all right? Mr. Muhammad, can I ask you, the Moroccan food, makhouda, is it makhouda?
Yes.
Is it like potato fritters, right? It's very delicious. I have some with my friends. So can I ask about
called an elephant have been
from Singapore? What is the famous dish from the country that you can tell? Miss, please, can you share me?
Too many.
Too many. Oh,
We are famous for chili crab.
oh chili crab, yes.
Laksa.
Hainanese chicken rice? Yes, I really like Hainanese chicken rice. How about Hong Kong?
Dim sum.
Dim sum, that is number one, dim sum, yes. So, our next presenter is from another Middle Eastern country, okay? So, without further ado, our next presentation will be from Ghazali Ali Ashkari and Sabah Islami from Iran. So with the topic, cultivating critical thinking in primary classrooms, lessons from practice and research. Please welcome our speakers.
Hello everyone, good morning and welcome. I'm Sabah from Iran. Well, our presentation is a bit different with the ones that you have already seen, because this is from two teachers sharing their experience using critical thinking in classes. In our school, we started a program by reading a book and sharing and applying the things we have learned through that book in our classrooms in different subjects. First, I want you to watch this video, and then I'll ask you to share what you think, your thoughts, and anything that comes to your mind. Could you please play the video?
You've probably heard the ancient parable of 6 blind men and the elephant. A group of blind men heard that a strange animal called an elephant had been brought to the town. None of them were aware of its shape and form, and out of curiosity they said, "We must inspect and know it by touch, of which we are capable." So they sought it out, and when they found it, they groped about it. The first person, whose hand landed on the trunk, said, "This being is like a thick snake." For another one, whose hand reached its ear, it seemed like kind of a fan. As for another person whose hand was upon its leg, said, "The elephant is a pillar like a tree trunk." The blind man who placed his hand upon its side said the elephant is a wall. Another who felt its tail described it as a rope. The last felt its tusk, stating the elephant is that which is hard, smooth, and like a spear. Now, which one of these men was correct? All of them were correct, and they were incomplete. Now think about this. What would it take for these 6 blind men to be able to more fully comprehend the nature of an elephant?
Sorry. Any thoughts? Any ideas? I like this folk tale, and I've heard that this is from India. I've heard so many versions. Nothing? Okay. So, by this, we were thinking that it is not only the details that matter, it is like different points of view, different assumptions that matter, but the whole thing that we take from different places, different people, makes something that worth a lot and makes the reality. So, first, the critical thinking. What should I do? How should I change this? critical thinking and why it matters. There's a definition. Critical thinking is the disciplined process of actively, skillfully conceptualizing, analyzing, synthesizing, applying, and evaluating information as a guide to belief and action. It involves metacognition, intellectual humility, open-mindedness, and reflective skepticism. We are reading book fields developing critical thinkers in our school, and in the book, he suggests 4 key components for critical thinking. Identifying and challenging assumptions, challenging the importance of a context, imagining and exploring the alternatives, reflective skepticism. And why it matters is that in academic context, it helps the student to go beyond rote memorization to deeper understanding and better argument. In everyday life, critical thinking helps people make informed decisions, resist manipulation, evaluate information, specifically and especially in media with all those fake news and stuff, and contribute more thoughtfully to social discourse. And in democratic societies, citizens need critical thinking to evaluate policies, play propaganda, and engage responsibly and actively in public life. In his book, Brookfield defines discusses how educators can design instruction to foster critical thinking in students. Then he talks about something called haunting assumptions. It is a central idea. The central idea of haunting assumptions is that people often operate under hidden assumptions. Beliefs, by hidden assumptions means the beliefs taken for granted. And critical thinking involves uncovering and examining these assumptions. And the assumptions can be categorized as paradigmatic, which are framework beliefs, prescriptive, that means what the things should be and how the things should be, and casual, which means what causes what. Then he talks about social learning and dialogue, in which he emphasizes that critical thinking is best cultivated through social processes, discussion, debate, reflecting with others, and not just solitary reasoning. So dealing with other people is the key. And empirical evidence and effectiveness is another thing that's mentioned. He believes that many studies show that teaching critical thinking explicitly leads to improved reasoning outcomes. For example, in science education, interventions like structured quantitative inquiry labs improve the students' reasoning and decision-making based on data until procedural cues disrupted and improved. There are methods and techniques for teaching critical thinking. The first one that we are using at our school is Socratic questioning or open-ended questions. We ask probing, open-ended questions that challenge students to explain, reflect, defend their ideas, or reconsider their assumptions rather than giving yes/no answers. Modeling one's own thinking is the other way we are practicing this at our school. The teacher thinks aloud, And by this, she shows how to question assumptions, consider alternatives, evaluate evidence. And this transparency helps the students see the thinking process in action. They use dilemmas, case studies, and they present ambiguous, real-life or complex scenarios with no single correct answer. So learners must weigh evidence, reason, compare alternatives, and justify decisions. The other thing is reflective journal or critical reflection. We ask the student to reflect on their thinking process, what assumptions did I make, what alternative perspectives do I have, and what evidence supports or challenges my view. The next one is dialogue and peer discussion. We use group work, debates, peer review, and these facilitate exposure to different viewpoints. It challenges one's reasoning and strengthen thinking through interaction. Then here are some examples that we have used in our classes. I teach English myself, and in English, for example, when we are studying persuasive writing, students analyze how authors' tone, evidence, and ideas have shaped the whole story. The other one, for example, is mathematics. Critical thinking goes beyond getting the right answer. Student asks, can I solve this problem in a different way? Which strategy is more efficient and why? And what mistakes might someone make here, and how can we prevent those mistakes? And another thing that we have practiced in science is that science is naturally about questioning and testing. So this can be very connected to critical thinking. For example, the students have to ask, what do I predict will happen if I change the variable? Why do people think that their experiments gained a different result from their classmates? And what evidences should support their conclusion? And so there are also challenges in using the critical thinking. One of them is that students fear of being wrong, and then teachers may lack training or confidence to use critical thinking classes, and curriculum might be overloaded and limited time. And exam systems that reward memorization in some curriculum. And the next one is that cultural norms that discourage questioning authority is another challenge and problem that people face in using critical thinking in their classes. And here are some practical solutions for us that we can build a classroom culture of respect and curiosity, which we're working on in our school. We can celebrate mistakes as learning opportunities, include reasoning-based questions in tests, provide professional training for teachers. We can start small, one reflective questions a day, and this can grow a habit of critical thinking. Now, I ask my friend to give you some more detailed information about using critical thinking in math. Thank you so much.
Hello everybody, I'm Azale from Iran. I am a math teacher. As my colleague pointed out, I want to share my experience in mathematics class in primary level, actually in level third and fourth. Based on critical thinking and based on Brookfield book. I want to show how we can integrate critical thinking into math education, focusing on misunderstanding and common mistakes which students can make in problem solving. Stephen Brookfield sees it as haunting assumptions to uncover and fix hidden beliefs and assumptions. Thus, students can learn from their mistakes if they talk about them and find the root of their mistakes. Actually, in primary school, kids build core math concepts, and I want to learn them. Misunderstanding sometimes can be informative and educational for them. Let's see an example with an important content in mathematics, fraction. In this example, the character misunderstands the concept of unit, as you see. Actually, I bring this picture to my class as an example and ask my students to talk about this mistake and say me what mistake surprised them. In this picture, as you see, the children want 4 brownies, and his mother have the brownies and give him and want to satisfy him. So with this picture, students can learn from the mistake of these students and learn deeper about the concept of unit in fraction. Again, I showed this common mistake in addition, fraction addition. I asked a student to use different methods such as manipulation or shapes to find out if the solution is wrong or not. Fraction addition, sometimes students make a mistake and add the denominators in the fraction, and I ask them to show this addition with manipulation and shapes. Actually, I want to focus on a famous saying that we can learn from our mistakes, and mistakes always cannot be a bad thing. So students can make a mistake, but they can learn from them, and mistakes can be useful for them sometimes, and they can learn from them. Okay, that's it. Thanks for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. The speakers from Iran for such a thought-provoking session. So do we have any questions before we continue with our final speaker before our break? Do you have any questions who would like to ask? Okay, no, currently. All right. So let's move on with our next speaker. This is our last speaker before our break. So next, from the United States, we have Mr. Dong Hong Moon, who will present Brunei's Modes of Representation in Olympiad Math. Please welcome Mr. Dong.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Hong Man, and I'm the team leader of USA. I've been a math Olympiad teacher for 14 years, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about how my journey teaching math has changed. Earlier on, Dr. Ridwan mentioned that one of the main challenges facing us today is how to represent abstract concepts in more practical ways. And I'm going to talk about how I overcame this challenge over time with Brunei's modes of representation. So this is how I'm going to structure my presentation. Firstly, I'm going to introduce myself, and then I'm going to talk about another education psychologist, Piaget, who is kind of a predecessor of Brunei. And then I'm going to talk about Brunei, followed by a practical session whereby we go through 3 simple Olympiad type questions together. Okay, so this is me. You can see that's me in primary school and later on in junior college. So I attended school in Singapore until my junior college years. And I did a lot of math, competed in math, and I also studied math. Even from a young age, I realized that sometimes when teachers talk about things abstractly, it would be very difficult for me to understand. But when they use pictures in the classroom, things became much easier for me, and I could learn much better. And this was especially prevalent in my primary school ages, when my friends talked about maybe more abstract types of mathematics like algebra. It was very difficult. But when they actually drew models and pictures, represented things with symbols, I could pick it up more easily. So this was something that carried on later on in my later years, and something that I noticed. So this is me at my math center teaching some students. So, but curiously, when I became a teacher, I also started to want to teach things in a more abstract way, because I realized that abstract teaching has certain advantages. Firstly, maybe it is less time consuming. We are able to teach more because we don't have to draw so many pictures. And secondly, it's also more versatile. With ideas, you are able to represent many different situations as opposed to maybe pictorial solutions or concrete solutions where you are actually using maybe physical aids. There are certain limitations to that. So, when I struggled to get my students to understand because I was talking too much in conceptual terms and not so much at their level of understanding, my response to that was to actually try to be even more eloquent, to try to explain things better with my words. And so that was how I tried to improve my teaching, but the results were quite limited. And it was only after I went to do my Master of Education and started to study more education psychology did I start to change my approach to teaching. So the guy on the top is Jerome Bruner, who was a Harvard professor, passed away 10 years ago. His theories on learning really influenced me quite a lot in the way that I conduct my lessons nowadays. And he himself built upon foundations of education psychologists before him, one of which is Piaget. So Piaget is this older gentleman over there. He believed in the stages of learning, that students first, young learners, They first learn by using their senses, and following that they develop languages and learn how to use symbols before progressing to thinking more logically, basic logic, and finally able to learn abstractly, learning hypothetical solutions, learning about things, picturing things in their head. He proposed that this is a strictly age-based kind of progression, and so it's not really very useful to teach abstract concepts to students at a young age. And he also emphasized that adult learners' primary learning method should be abstract. So he influenced a whole generation of educators, many of them who also thought like him. But Brunner is a little bit different. Brunner believes that even for adults, there is a place for them to start learning pictorially or visually before progressing to abstract concepts. He believes that it's not an age thing, and that both young and old learners will benefit from an active, iconic, and symbolic learning pathway. That means from maybe learning with actions and then learning with symbols or with pictures before finally learning abstractly. He believed that even adults will benefit from this learning pathway. And so after learning about this, I definitely changed the way that I teach, that I taught math in the classroom. I no longer stubbornly clung to being more eloquent in the classroom and talking about concepts that my students didn't understand. But whenever the occasion called for it, I would try to bring in examples of pictures that they would be able to relate to and identify with. And this actually helped them learn much better, helped me to accomplish my learning objectives in the classroom much more. Okay, so my presentation is relatively short, but I hope it's fun. We'll go through 3 quite simple mathematics questions, where I illustrate how pictorial learning helps students a lot more than just abstract learning. So this is the first question, quite simple. Can be solved both by general math methods and also by more innovative ways. They're asking you to solve 1999 multiplied by 555, subtracting 2000 by 554. So if we just, the conventional way would be to use long multiplication, in which case we would compute this and do the working for 1999 and 555. Then we would do 2000 and 554. Then we would subtract it just like this. But this level of mathematics actually is not as helpful for Olympiad, because the questions usually require more creative solutions, which we want to cultivate in the classroom when we teach. So of course, people who are familiar with this type of questions, they see that 1999 is close to 2000, 554 is close to 555. You'll be thinking about grouping the numbers together, right? So this is an abstract way of grouping it, and requires quite a bit of skill with your equations, right? 1999, you will convert it to 2000 minus 1. And then this is the expansion of that. I got 2000, I got 555 sets of 2000 on the left side, and I have 554 sets of 2000 on the right side. When I subtract them, I'll be left with 1 set. Then my final answer is 1445. But maybe if you are teaching a very young student, this also may not suffice. So we need to think about more pictorial representations that they would be comfortable with. So we introduce the rectangle method. We can see that the multiplication on the left side, the 555 is 1 larger, whereas on the right side, the 2000 is 1 larger than 1999. So I will just draw 2 rectangles. 1999 multiplied by 555 will be represented by areas A plus B, and on the left side, 2000 and 554 is represented by areas A and C. So if I do this subtraction, I'm just taking A and B, subtracting A and C, so I'm just subtracting C from B. And this will give me 1999 minus 554 and 1445. So I think this is a much better way of teaching the students. Thank you. Thank you. This is a second example. Maybe it's a little more complex, but I hope that with my eloquence you will be able to follow along. I am using the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to form two 4-digit numbers. I need to find the largest products. So what can I do? Largest product means I need to multiply the two 4-digit numbers together to get the largest number. And every digit can only be used once. So many students intuitively, they will know that you're going to put the 8 and 7 in the thousands place, right? 6 and 5 in the hundreds, 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. But what they don't know is the exact order. Is the 6 going to be on top or below? Is the 4 going to be on top or below? Is the 2 going to be on top or below? Right? So I put the 8 and 7 in first, but the rest are maybe a bit confusing or a bit befuddling for the students. So many of them will actually do trial and error. They will try 8,000 or 8,600 represented by 86 multiplied by 75, then they'll try 85 by 76. Then once they find the right combination with the larger product, they'll do 3 digits instead. Then after that, they'll solve for 4 digits. This is a trial and error method, and it's a legit way of solving this question, and it's okay, although it doesn't actually help the students conceptually understand what is going on. But once again, actually, this can be represented pictorially to help the students get a better understanding of how to get the largest product. And I will use rectangles once again to illustrate this. Imagine we have a string of length 20 cm and we want to form a rectangle. Rectangle has 4 sides, 2 lengths and 2 breadths. So 1 length and 1 breadth will equal to 10 cm. If my breadth is 1 and my length is 9, I have an area of 9 centimeters square. The area represents the product. If it's 2 and 8, I have 16. So we notice that the area is getting larger. 3 and 7, 21. I skip 4 and 6. 5 and 5, we have 25. So we notice that as the two numbers converge or the difference becomes smaller, the product gets larger. And the general concept is because the shape becomes more regular, there is a much better use of parameter to get a larger area versus the very first one at the top, whereby it's an inefficient use of string if you want to get a large area. So we can actually apply it here. If we want to get the largest area, all we need is to have the smallest difference between the number at the top and at the bottom. So if I have 8,000 at the top, 7,000 below, I would want to have 500 on top and 600 below. Because 8,005 minus 7,006 is 900. Whereas 8,006 minus 7,005 is 1,001. Going by this logic, I insert 3 and 4. That's right. Very good. On 2. So this will be a solution for this question. Okay, this is the third question, and this is a bit tougher. I've seen this before in primary school Olympiad, and I think this is a little bit unfair because this is an epicycloidal question that even secondary school students will find challenging. There's a small 3 cm circumference circle. It's rolling 1 time over the entire 30 cm circumference larger circle. They're asking you how many rotations about the middle did the small circle make. Many primary school students will be very confused with this one because they will just think that, or they'll wonder what's the difference between rolling a small circle over a larger circle versus a small circle over a straight line. They'll think that, isn't it 10 rotations in both cases? But actually this is not the case. The conventional way of teaching that I've seen even in certain solution booklets, is to just show them this formula. And this doesn't really help the primary school students. They don't exactly know or understand why you need to add the circumference of the larger circle with the circumference of the smaller circle to get the 11 rotations. We've all thought it was 10, right? Where does the last rotation come from? So for this question, I will draw on a common phenomenon from science, the planetary movement, to illustrate this. That's right. So this is the Earth moving around the Sun. The Earth is moved, or two forces are acting on the Earth, right? One causes the orbit, which is the rotation about the Sun, and one causes the spin about the axis. Rotation about the Sun is one time every about 365 days. And to be more accurate, 365.25, but about 365. Whilst the spin is once per day. So every year you will have 365 spins and one orbit. So in total, 366 rotations. If they still don't understand this, I will show them this diagram that I drew. Imagine that the Earth is just orbiting without the spin, right? Then we have the orientation A at the very top. If there is no spin, the A will face right, and then bottom, and then left, before finally righting itself again. That's why even without the spin, going around the circle one time is going to cause one rotation. If I add the spin, which as you all see in the previous slide, is the ball rolling over, or the circle rolling over the larger circle, I add another 10 rotations to it. That is how I get a total of 11 rotations in the end. Yeah. Okay, so this ends my presentation. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm open to collaboration because I'm very interested in developing this area of mathematics. So school math in general has already started to pivot towards pictorial learning, but competition math, I think some of the solutions still require a bit of work. So we are gradually developing this area. And if any of you are interested to collaborate, I will be happy to speak more. Thank you.
So we're opening for questions. One wonderful presentation from Sektor, from Mood, about the innovative approach on mathematics for Olympiads. So I'm open for any questions to ask Sektor. Any questions from the crowd? I guess so. There are no questions, Mr. Dong. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will now take a short break, and please take this time to refresh yourself, and we'll resume shortly with our next session. So, a reminder for our participants and presenters, after all the presenters have done their presentation, we have a short ceremony of giving certification for all of you. Okay, with that, I would like to say thank you very much. So the break is around 10 minutes. You can go out for yourself, take some refreshments, okay? So before we continue with our next speaker, okay, Mr. Muhammad, as promised, will show us a short video clip about his experience in Morocco. Okay, Mr. Muhammad?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I return back to continue. This, so a few words. As I said before in the morning, that there are two parts. The first part is theoretical, and the second is concrete in classrooms and in summer camps. I will show some moments of those initiatives. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Muhammad. As they say, khalas, done already. Alhamdulillah. So, we continue with the next speaker. Okay, ready for the next speaker? We continue with our session of the presentation. So, for the speaker 6, welcome back everyone. Our next speakers are Kau Sakusam Kraisi, Kochapon Sisuan, and Virapas Puntong from Thailand. Presenting Enhancing Mathematics Learning and Student Engagement through ISL Online Personal Practice, a case study at Matayaton, Wat Nairong School, Thailand. Please welcome our presenters.
Good morning, everyone. We are a team from Matayaton School, Thailand. Today, we would like to share our project title, Enhancing Mathematical Learning and Student Engagement through ISL Online Personalized Practice. This study shows how students can learn math anywhere and anytime through personalized learning with ISL platform. Okay. As many of you know, the traditional homework has some problems. First, there are only a few questions because the teacher has to make and check them by themselves. Second, the students have to wait until the next class to know if their answers are right or wrong. This waiting makes practice less useless and less fun. Over time, this problem can make the students less interested in practicing math by themselves. To solve this problem, we look for a tool that could help students get quick the answer, have more practice questions, and learn at their own level. We choose to use the ISL platform and online learning program that adjusts to each student level and give feedback right after every question. Okay, and our main goal was to see if use ISL could help the students practice math better and enjoy it more than traditional homework. We also want to find out whether students would spend more time practicing, try more problems, and feel more motivated to learn. In this study, our team of teachers worked together on this project. We include students from the whole school, 952 students from grade 7 to 12. We will use this ISL platform to help collect and organize all the data. This platform will help us to see how it can support our students to become more successful in learning mathematics. From ISL, we can get many kinds of useful data for our study, such as how much time the student spend practicing, how many problems they can try, how many skills they master, their learning level, how often they complete the assignment, their behavioral learning, what the teacher can observe, and this platform can give the feedback from students and parents. Okay, now let's welcome the teacher girl, our team of members, to share what we use the ISL platform and what the result we got after using it.
Hello, I'm Gao Sakusam. I'm from Thailand. Okay, why we use the ISL is the AI platform that we found. We try to finding which platform to help and to solve our student. So one of the first that we find that this website or ISL, there was more than 95% of students were able to practice and learn independent using ISL. Many students, this show that the platform is easy for a student to navigate with our constant teacher support. And in this website, when students do the exercise, when students get wrong and get correct, it will show. When they get incorrect, the explanation will show up on the student's screen. And the right hand, the middle is show the number of questions and the time that they spent and the score that they got out of 100. Okay, so we compare with tradition. Our tradition, we use the paper before and now how to let them work and practice more skill in mathematics more than before. That compared with our tradition homework, students use this website, spend the time more time to practicing. They also attempt a much greater number of problems, not waiting for the teacher, come back to the class and check the answer. That's why that matters, because more practice generally lead to strong skill and better retention. Okay, this is we call diagnostic level. We also found that this diagnostic level that the majority of students who dedicate more time to achieve diagnostic level above their current grade that we found. On the left-hand side is the score from the 6 skills. It's out of 1,300. And the right-hand side is show that the skill that they can follow to improve their mathematics skill. Okay, for our school, we use this platform named ISL to engage their mathematics. Okay, to motivate them. They follow the personalized action plans automatically generated by the platform, which is guide them by step. This level of self-directed learning was seen with paper and pencil homework, and this is for our model, our school model. We start with pre-test from the diagnostic. Our student, the whole student, have to take the pre-test. We have diagnostic, and after that we have many activities. Or the teachers, mathematics teachers, use this website for give assignment to the students. The student will find the link of IML via Google Classroom or by their parents or student to do the many links in the website. Okay, and we motivate them by we have the math week in foundation. Let them to the competition using ISL, and we give them the certificate many years, once a year, to engage them. And after before final exam, we let them take the post-test using diagnostic level again. We find that some students, the progress of mathematics is upskill. Okay. This is an example in our class, Google Classroom, the left-hand side. The teachers post the assignment using ISL in the Google Classroom, and the second, the middle is our competition. The right-hand side, we let students to follow and step by step follow the platform. Okay. After 1 year, we sum up the statistic, the green and the blue. The blue is the number of questions that students take paper before. And after we use this platform, the numbers is very different, contrast. The green is 391 questions is true contest. And the right hand side, okay, we show some students take the same exercise many times that they want. If they want to practice until their 100 score, when they take again, many times they want to practice this, they can. Instead of the paper, then they waiting for the teacher to check and mark in the next period. So, and this show that the students who get the score, when we let them practice and practice more, follow step by step, the score, the point that show the score, and this is the students. Yes, and the right hand side is show that the separate student skill that we can help them to improve the mathematics skill. Okay. Okay, this is for our students in our school. They can use and take this anywhere, anytime that they want. And okay, so we believe this approach can be an effective way for school to modernize homework and better support student learning in mathematics. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to remind you, please silence your phone, your notification, and also the calls, please. Because during our presentation, we need total absolute silence and focus for our presenters. Thank you very much. So thank you to our team from Thailand for sharing their valuable case study. It's very good, and I was intrigued about the pre and post test. The pre and post test about the ISL, right? So we've seen a significant increase from the students, from the data shown above, right? So keep on doing, and all the best. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. So up next, our speaker, the speaker number 7, I would like to call upon Nur Faridatul Jamalia Razali to give her topic on inquiry-based science projects for building resilience and social skills in early childhood education for sustainable development. Please welcome Nur Faridatul Jamalia Razali.
Very good morning, everyone. I'm Nur Faridatul Jamalia Razali from Abu Dhabi International University, School of Education and Human Sciences. So today's topics will be inquiry-based scientific project for building resilient and social skill in early childhood education for the sustainable development. So this research actually involve a collaboration with the class together with Alor. Right. Right. First of all, inquiry-based learning, as we know, that is where the learners actively construct knowledge through the question, investigating, and the problem solving. It also encourage the curiosity among the children, critical thinking, and reflection in the children. So, how it is important in the early childhood education, specifically First, we are focusing on developing holistic learning, where focusing on cognitive, emotional, and social. And number two, we would like to promote the 21st century skill, such as the collaboration as well as creativity among young learners. Lastly, to make sure that we integrate the sustainability awareness from the early learning stages, as we know that early childhood occur between 0 to 6 years old, to ready them before they are going to the primary school. So based on the background and significance of this study, we're focusing on the inquiry-based science project to enhance the engagement, problem-solving, and peer collaboration, as well as the resilience, where the ability for the young children to adapt and recover from the challenge based on the project that they are involved in. And as well as to improve their social skill, where the key for this is teamwork, empathy, as well as the communication. So this research is actually wants aiming to bridge the pedagogical and sustainability goal in the ECE. Right. So we identify a few gaps during the research, where the first one is lack of the integration in the curriculum, where somehow we have been done everything, but the inquiry-based learning, the approach is not fully embedded across the preschool subject, leading to the fragment experience. So meaning that we have been doing activities, but somehow because of the structured curriculum, we somehow cannot be done because of the project based. Okay, limited teachers' competency. Okay, many preschool educators lack of adequate trainings and confidence to design and implement IBSP effectively. And third is insufficient learning resources. There is a shortage of the developmentally appropriate material and learning environments and support inquiry and play. Inconsistent assessment practice. Current evaluation method often emphasize on the academic outcome rather than holistic child development, where it focusing on the cognitive, social, emotional, and physical. So for this study, we're focusing on the theoretical framework based on the holistic child development by Vygotsky, where it focusing on the social interaction, collaboration, and guided participation. So in the context of this study, the inquiry-based science project promote learning through interaction, exploration, and shared problem, nurturing resilient social skill and sustainability awareness together to support the holistic child development. So you can see here in the framework. Okay, in the research objective and question, we want to answer the question that in what way that this IBSP enhance the social skill of the children, and how do IBSP contribute to the resilience of the development, and how the IBSP promotes sustainable development awareness. So the key objective to examine, to analyze the impact and explore how the IBSP promotes sustainability awareness. We use the mixed method, which is qualitative and quantitative, towards the 46 preschooler, which is 6 years old, and 10 teachers from 5 preschooler in the northern area of Malaysia, using the child resilience skill as well as the social skill improvement system, SCIS, and the data collection we're using observation, teachers interview, pre-post assessment, as well as the statistical analysis. So we also consider the article using the parental consent because it involves young children. Okay, the findings are based on the data analysis. The inquiry-based learning enhances really to prove that it actually enhances the social skill, where fall into the few themes, which is communication, cooperation, and empathy through the group project. Children also develop a confidence and teamwork while discussing environmental tasks. We can see the comparison where there is a significant improvement in the inquiry-based engagement, as well as the stronger teamwork and the communication among peers in the domain of the social interaction and collaborator, improve persistence and problem-solving skill, to know about the resilient improvement and adaptability, sustainable awareness, greater awareness of the environment, responsibility, as well as for overall holistic development. We can see the positive growth across all the domain. So from the teachers interview section, we classified, we get a finding and put it into a team. First section, teachers confident. So teachers, most of the teachers express a limited confidence in conducting inquiry-based activity, citing a lack of the training exposure. So in order for them to do the project-based, science project-based, so they need more trainings. Curriculum alignment, teachers found a challenge to align IBSP activities with the SPK learning currently due to the time constraint and rigid lesson plan. So they can do, but they are still limited to the KSPK. Resource and ability, inadequate material and emphasis, more were major barrier to implement effective inquiry-based project. Parental support also one of the things that we found, where how will the teachers highlight low parental involvement and understanding the IBSP approach. And lastly, child engagement. Despite this challenge, teachers observe a higher motivation, curiosity, and social interaction among children among the IBSP activities. So children actually enjoy these IBSP activities. Okay, so finding number 2 through the IBSP project is a foster resilience, where child persisted through problem-solving tasks. So in all the activities that we conducted, the children display a growth mindset, productivity, and confidence during all the activities that we done. And then the finding 3, nature-based inquiry promotes sustainability awareness, where activity that we done increase the eco-consciousness. Children also articulate the ideas about the protecting the environment. So based on this study, there is a few recommendations, a practical recommendation that we can done to integrate IBSP into daily preschool activities, provide professional development for teachers, incorporate nature-based sustainable project, policy support to align with national preschool curriculum. And lastly, IBSP effectively enhance resilience, social skill that we know that it be proven. Okay, the support also by the biological social cultural theories. It also provide empirical evidence for the experimental inquiry-based pedagogy, and lastly, strengthen the nation goal for sustainable and inclusive early education. So with that, I think that's all from me. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can email or text me. Thank you.
Thank you to Nur Faridatul Jamali Razali for the wonderful session, or an approach that I think for pendidikan awal kanak-kanak with the relation with Kemas, right? That is something else. Very good. Thank you very much. So finally, we have our last speaker here. We have Miss Nurul Huda Hassan Bakri from Malaysia, presenting From Legend to Lab, Integrating Technology and Local Wisdom to Teach Science and in the Secondary Classroom. Please welcome our final speaker.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to everyone. First thing first, thank you to IMSO. I'm from Alor International University as one of the hosts that collaborates together with this IMSO program. And I would like to welcome all the delegates as well. I hope you enjoyed AIU and Malaysia so far. Alright. So, okay. Before I proceed with this project, actually this is a project that we have already done and also had been conducted in few schools around Alustar, and also we bring this project to International Teaching Excellence Awards 2025 in Thailand, Prince of Songkla. So I would like to share the outcome of this project with all of you. Alright, okay. From legend to lab. Alright. integrating technology and local wisdom to teach science in the secondary classroom. A tale of si tanggang for teaching density. So the topic density is one of the syllabus in the science subjects in primary in Malaysia, but somehow when we bring this to Thailand, it's likely equivalent to the early secondary school. All right, so due to that, so we actually slightly make it into a little bit higher, the syllabus, to meet the secondary schools in Thailand, and we choose si tanggang as the core of this project, all right, because my area of expertise is dealing with reading fluency. I'm actually a TESOL lecturer, but together with our Miss Jamie over there, Miss Farida Atul, we work on this project to how to integrate this, I would say, a local wisdom, one of the folklore, famous folklore in Malaysia, into teaching science. All right? Okay, so let's go to the background of this project. All right, as we know, because you mentioned about mathematics and science, how abstract it is, how difficult it is to some of the learners to grasp the idea or concept of it. So this is where the idea comes in. All right, when we integrate stories into teaching of all these abstract topics related to science and maths, it could enhance learners' understanding and also engagement. Because when we're talking about stories, it's all about engagement. How stories can actually engage learners to follow, to understand, to visualize. All these elements comes in together. So this is one of the reasons why I propose, Miss Jamie, we bring stories and connect it into science, all these science things. Right? Because I'm not coming from the science area, I might not be able to explain it well, but somehow we're talking about this project. All right. So with these three integrations, first on the abstract science concept, and secondly with the local wisdom heritage, which we believe can bring, can actually bridge the science learning and also students' culture identity together, particularly with the local wisdom, where they have the idea about it. We're talking about si tanggang. In Malaysia, of course, it's very famous, about disobedient son. And we also have the same version in Indonesia, of what? Maling Gundang, yes, Maling Gundang. See, it's the same storyline with a different character, but they have the idea, you have the idea, the prior knowledge towards it. So we are using this context of understanding to bring all the science elements that we have in this story to help the students to learn the topic of density. We try first with the density. And thank you to SKP Browser. We have two experts that validate the content itself that helped us to make sure it's aligned with the syllabus, that meet the syllabus of KPM and also with the standard syllabus for primary and secondary school. All right, let's move on. Okay, the study that supports our project, okay, first one is on local wisdom in science education. So when we are talking about this local wisdom in science education, we're looking at, in many Asian contexts, folklores and legends. You are very famous with this, which conveys value, ethics, and also explanations, not only in natural phenomena, they can also complement the modern science concepts, all right? Where we integrate this kind of stories, it will support both cognitive and also affective engagement, all right? It is proven in the research that has been conducted by Ikan and also Lee in 2016. So this local wisdom as a bridge between the traditional knowledge and also the scientific inquiry. All right, so the second one is on the storytelling as the pedagogy. All right, narrative approach. You tell a story. Students have a lot of ways to visualize things, all right? When they listen, they have their own visualization. So we try to connect this with together I'm not saying expertise, but we are moving towards this with AI and everything. We generate the story based on our visualization and connects it with the science concept. I will show it to you later on. And this actually helps the student to see better on the science concept through the story. All right. So the technology and also the active learning. So digital learning tools such as the e-storybook that we have now a lot. Flipbooks, you are using flipbooks, you are using all this online e-storybook. So we make use of this as one of the tools. We incorporate it into the teaching of that particular subject of density. So there's an activity that embedded together in this set of, you can call it as a flipbook, but it's something like that, all right? I can share it later to you guys if any of you interested to see it more. Okay. All right, now we're talking about this project where we bring it to the International Teaching Excellence Award. We have to implement this project to 20 students in Thailand, secondary school students. Most of them is, I would say, equivalent to our secondary Form 1, about 13 years old. All right, so the science focus is the density topic, and our cultural anchor here is Malaysian folklore. We wanted to see whether this content can actually engage and help the learners in Thailand to understand the concept of density that we wanted to teach them. All right? Okay, this is our lesson design, how we actually design the lesson of this project. Okay, we have what we call as integrated instructional design, all right, where we incorporate the interactive storybook as the digital component. We also have the collaborative problem solving through creative design, hands-on on density experiments, which require scientific inquiry. So this hybrid approach supports the multi-modal learning, where we have the blending of visual, auditory, and also kinesthetic experience. This is according to Mayo, where we really wanted to push to the max, at least they can grasp the concept. All right. For the digital component on the interactive e-storybook, we are using Sitanggang, as what I mentioned to you, which created using the digital authoring tools. We narrate the text with animations, the comprehension questions, and embedded science prompts, and also short digital quizzes for formative assessment. And the next one, the story transformation theme, where Tanggang turned into stone, served as an analogy for exploring material density and also buoyancy. And why do some materials sink and while others float? All right, there's a justification behind it, and that's among the concepts that we deliver to the students, from floating to sinking. And digital responses were recorded in real time, allowing for immediate feedback and also adaptive questioning. All right, and the next part is on hands-on components, experiment and also collaborations. So following the story, students tested the density of various materials. So we have wood, stone, everything that we bring to this experiment is actually a part of all the materials that have in the story when Sitanggang actually built the ship, where the mother bring all the foods and everything. So all these materials is actually been projected again and bring it as the questions where the student will test whether it's going to sink or it's going to float. So before the end of the lesson, students participated in group design challenge. This is I would say the core of it, where students have to come up with a design. Whether using the material provided, which one actually will help the ship that they're going to design will float or it's going to sink. And at the end, these are the things that encourage the scientific reasoning, that promoting teamwork and also creativity. Okay, our findings and observation based on this project presented to the Thai students. So it did see some increase of engagement, even though we have language barriers. All right, not everyone managed to really speak fluently in English, but perhaps they do understand. They they actually can follow because of the helps of the stories behind it, with all the illustrations that comes together with it. At least we share some common things that can help the student to understand. Alright, so it actually increased the motivation and also emotional investment in learning the density concept when it was linked to the story. The story actually helped it out. Alright, conceptual understanding. The deeper comprehension of density when concept was grounded in visual representation. It's a need to link to the visual representation in order to help some of the students. Some students can be easily understand in a way where we just explain it abstractly, but most of the students, they need visual. Right. So language and cross-cultural learning. The lesson also supported English language development. So this is actually what I want to focus as well. So bringing these stories together with the science, it helps promoting the value-based education at the same time, because the story, when we're talking about folklore, we are talking about legend from the countries that we live in, especially in Southeast Asia. We have a lot of values in it. So we wanted to bring this back together while teaching the science subject. So exposure to Malaysian culture, promoting intercultural understanding at the same time. All right, the discussion here. So the lesson highlights how integrating local wisdom with digital storytelling can enrich science education in multilingual and also multicultural contexts. I wish I can tell you the story of Sitanggang, but let's see, maybe we can meet outside later on. So for those who are not familiar with it. Alright, by combining the cultural narrative with inquiry-based learning, students experience science as meaningful and also interconnected with human stories. And the third thing, this approach exemplifies culturally responsive science teaching, alright, which not improve academic outcome, but also nurture respect for diverse knowledge system. Okay, move on to the implication of this project. Alright, first is cultural relevant. We managed to bring out the cultural element from it, where we are using the local folklore around scientific learning in familiar context, which will enhance comprehension and also the identity connections. So, the second thing is on the digital integrations, where we really focus on technology nowadays, on AI enhancement and everything, where it should not replace, but rather amplify storytelling and also the inquiry parts. And also interdisciplinary design, we combine science, culture, literacy, supports holistic skill development for our students. And lastly, for the cross-cultural educations, we incorporate stories from different cultures, which will foster empathy and also global-mindedness among students. All right. And my conclusion, our From Legend to Lab experience demonstrate a meaningful integration of local wisdom, especially on the folklore of Sitanggang, technology and also the scientific inquiry, which can enhance both engagement and also the conceptual learning. And this Sitanggang density lesson offers a replicable model for us educators to sit and also to connect local heritage with STEM, showing that culture and also science can coexist to deepen understanding and also appreciation across the disciplines. So with that, if you have any questions, you can ask me. And also, thank you for your time. Okay, is that time for you? I would like to share just a short video on our preparations towards this project.
Sea number came from a blue fish from